Can you really time the market perfectly so you can maximize your profits when selling your house? Is that even possible? And the people that do it, actually, do they do it on purpose or is it just by luck? Let's find out. Welcome back to another video. If you don't know me, I'm Luis Bruno. I am a realtor down here in Savannah, Georgia. But anyway, let's get to the point. Why am I making this video? It is for the simple reason that either sellers or buyers, they try to time the market perfectly, right? And the truth is, and I'm sure you know this, most people are not experts, and even the experts are wrong about 80% of the time when it comes to timing the market, right? So I wanted to make a video and at least share with you the perspective on why is this almost impossible and the consequences of thinking this way. Now, let me give you an example so you know what I'm referring to. If you are a seller and you have a conversation with your agent, you know you want to move, you know you want to sell your home, but you say, you know what, let me just wait a little bit more, just give me a few months because I'm trying to at least, make the most money as possible. Now, if you are a buyer, let's say the market is going down, you're confident, right? You read the news and you say, oh, let me just wait a few more months because the market will continue to go down and I want to buy the home at the lowest price possible. Is there anything wrong with that? No. Believe me, everybody thinks that way. That is just people trying to save money or make more money, which is perfect. Okay, now the real question is, how do you know what the peak of the market is? How do you know what the bottom of the market is? That is the question. How? Because there has to be a way to know what the peak of the market is and what the bottom of the market is. So let's find out. Let me show you physically with pen and paper how to do this. All right, guys, this is very simple. Time in the market, prices on the left. Here we got months. And let's say, for example, that right now in the market, the prices are going up, correct? And let's say they are at 300,000. Let's start right here on this side, right? So prices are going up. It's January, February, keep going up and up. You are super excited, but you say, let me just wait because things are going up. And let me ask you, you talk to your agent right here. He asks you, if you want to sell, whatever, you say, no, I want to wait because I want to make more money later. I know prices are going to go up because you're trying to time the market. So my question for you is this the peak of the market? Yes or no? Is this right here the peak of the market? Yes or no? And how would you know? Let me tell you something. Why is it impossible to know? Because the only way you would know that that was actually the peak is if I do this. Now you say, oh, yeah, that was the pick, man. That was the pick. Then I approach you here. And then you tell me that you wanted to just maximize your profit. Therefore, you want to list your home right here. Why? Because you're trying to time the market and it's too late, right? You wanted to sell your home, right, at the peak, but then you realize that you're here. And you still want to list your home. You want to list it right here. For no reason, actually, but that is not the market value anymore. Now the market is down here. You see how that works? Now let me ask you this though. Is this right here the bottom of the market, right? Now the market is crashing, keeps crashing. You're trying to buy a home. Let's say now I'm talking to a buyer. And the buyer tells me, well, I just want to wait because I want to time the market and I want to make sure that I don't, that when I buy it, I don't want the home to go down in value, right? So you're right here and I ask you, so is this the bottom of the market? Well, I don't know. How would you know that that was the bottom of the market? Only if the market does this. Now, when the market does that, you can say, oh, well, yeah, that was the bottom of the market. Well, obviously, it was the bottom of the market because time have already passed. So you're basically too late. So now you have to buy your home here, right? This is the buyer now. This one right here was the perspective of the seller. So can you see why it is impossible to time the market? Because the only way, literally, the only way to find out what the bottom or the peak was is by having another point of reference. right? Once you have this point of reference, you can tell, oh, this was the bottom, right? Now, once you have this point of reference, you can tell this was the peak of the market. So guys, there's plenty of people, hundreds of thousands of people in the United States that actually sold their home right here. Now they can tell you, oh no, I was just waiting, and they can tell you they know what they're talking about, and they don't. It was just pure luck. Just like everybody, all of the thousands of buyers who actually bought their home right here, they tell you, oh no, I just bought it right when the market was the best. You know, I know what I'm talking about. Just follow my advice. They didn't know anything. All they know is that they bought it here and then it went up later. Now it makes them feel good. It makes them feel good that they bought it right here. Not because they knew what they were doing. It was just pure coincidence and luck. And that's it. All right, there you go. Now that you have a clear picture in your mind of what I'm talking about, I'm pretty sure it makes sense to you. Now, what are the consequences of thinking this way? If you are a seller and if you are a homeowner, what are the consequences of thinking this way? Let me tell you something. If you are a seller and this happens to you, that you notice a few months later, the market is not the same, and your agent, your real estate agent tells you, hey, we should list the home here based on the current market. And you say, no, but my neighbor's house, the home down the street just sold for $20,000 more than that. And you get frustrated because you talk to the neighbor and they tell you. Now you have a keeping up with the Jones mentality, and you try to sell the home either more expensive or for the same price as the neighbor. And this is going to help you think? Do you really think this is going to help you? You know what's going to happen? This is a consequence. You're going to list your home, right, at the same price as your neighbor or for more, because you still have this mentality that, no, like the market, it's still great and I don't care what anybody says. I'm going to list my home at this price, right? 2 weeks pass, 3 weeks pass, 4 weeks pass. You're like, oh shit, nobody's making offer on my home, right? Then you decide to drop the price. All right, let me just pay attention to my agent and what the people are telling me. And then you drop the price. Now what happens? Then the buyers are seeing all of the inventory of fresh new homes, fresh inventory. And they see your home that it's been on the market for 45 days. And what do they say? What's wrong with that house? Oh, they dropped the price. Damn, nobody had bought that home. I wonder what's wrong with it. But you know what? Since they already dropped the price, it seems like obviously that they are motivated to sell, because why would they drop the prices if they're not motivated? And guess what? You will never, I'm telling you, once that happens, it is almost impossible to really get the money that you wanted to. It is impossible because you literally shoot yourself on the foot because you have so much greed and denial of the actual reality. And guess what? Maybe your agent can tell you, oh, I know about the market. This is the peak. Just sell it right now. And if your agent tells you that, he's BSing you. He's just full of it. He's BSing you because nobody knows. Remember what I told you? The only way you know is by having another point of reference. And the only way you can have another point of reference is by letting time pass, right? Once time already passed, you can look back and say, oh yeah, that was the peak of the market, all right? Or that was the bottom of the market. Now, on the other hand, we have the buyer, right? The person who wants to time the market on the bottom. What are the consequences of a buyer being in denial of the market change? What are the consequences of that? Here's how they think. So the type of home they were looking for, let's say it was for $300,000. All of a sudden, all of the new listings start coming up, 315, 320, 330. What does it say? Oh, that's too much. I mean, last month they were for 300. Why is this home in the same neighborhood for 320? Don't make any sense. So what did he do? He just make a lowball offer. No, I'm just gonna offer 300,000. I'm gonna offer 300,000 because that's it. He loses the first offer. He loses the second offer. He loses the third offer. He said, "Oh, my agent sucks." Boom. Fires the agent. Get another agent. Make another offer. Loses the offer. All of a sudden, all of the real estate agents in the world suck because they're not doing the negotiations right. Make sense? So you don't want to be that guy. Don't be the buyer who thinks that know what you're doing, and don't be the seller that know what you think what you're doing. All right, now that we talked about the problem, the consequences, maybe you're saying, all right, I get it. All right, perfect. What should I do? What do you want me to do then? Here's my recommendation. Now, this is not financial advice. This is not legal advice. You need to pay more attention to your situation and the consequence of your situation than the actual market. Here's what I mean by that. Does it really make any difference for you to make $10,000 less when you sell your home? Does it really impact your life? Like if you say, look, if I don't have those 10 grands, I'm gonna have to deal with all of these consequences. They are real ones, right? Do you really need to make an extra 10 grand? Do you really need to make an extra 20 grand? Now I'm asking the question, do you really need, not do you really want, because everybody wants it, but do you really need it? Like, does it really make a difference if you sell now for $350 than if you actually sell for $340 a month later? Does it really make a difference in your life, like life-changing stuff? What are you going to be able to do with that money that you cannot do with $10,000 less? Like if I hand you $350,000 less, what are you planning on doing with it? Now, can you do the same thing with $340,000? That's what I'm talking about, right? So if you're a seller, just think about that. Just reflect. Have a conversation with your spouse. Do we really need to make this amount of money? Yes or no? And why? If you're a buyer, the same exact situation. Do we really need to buy a house right now at these prices? Why? Right? Because if you're going to spend the money, you're going to spend it either on a mortgage or on your rent. So the question is, your situation, just reflect on it. Is this something that I want to do, or is this something that I need to do? Because if I don't do it, I will have to deal with these consequences. Now, I don't know what those consequences are because I don't know you, right? I don't know you personally. I don't know what you've been through. I don't know what you're going to have to go through. I don't know none of that. I'm telling you, reflect more on your situation than on the market. Because it's okay. I mean, you're not going to die all of a sudden because you sold your home for $10,000 less. You're not going to die because you bought your home for $10,000 more, right? So sometimes we just take life way too seriously, and you don't have to. Like, you don't have to. Now, don't get mad at a real estate agent. And if you're a real estate agent watching this, don't be getting mad at the homeowner for not understanding. Maybe you can just explain to them exactly what you saw in this video, right? And it's up to them to either accept it or not. If they are in denial, it is up to you to either work with that client or just say, you know what, I appreciate it or whatever, but obviously it seems like we cannot get on the same page. And if we cannot start doing business from the same page, there's no way we're gonna be able to end up in the same page. Make sense? So it is up to you guys. Think, reflect, and subscribe to my channel for more information. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.